Soul Journey, Part 12. The river of potential shimmered endlessly, a flowing current of golden and silver radiance, carrying with it the whispers of infinite possibilities. Along its luminous banks, souls gathered, their orbs hovering in quiet contemplation. Some observed the river's movements, while others edged closer, their energies stirring with curiosity. Liora and Tamak floated at the edge, watching as something unexpected happened. Certain souls began to change. Instead of remaining as glowing orbs, their light stretched and elongated, flickering in and out of different shapes, some humanoid, others experimental. Arms flickered in and out of existence, radiant figures took shape before dissolving back into orbs. Some souls hesitated, unsure. Others laughed in a resonant bell-like way, playing with their newfound ability to shift. Tamak pulsed beside her, his energy rippling with delight. "Do you see this? That one just grew a hand, and then lost it." He flickered brightly as he chuckled. "It's strange," Liora responded, mesmerized. "I feel something like a pull, a shape waiting for me, but I don't fully understand it yet." Before they could explore the sensation further, a presence stirred behind them. They turned, and there, standing in a glow of deep, steady radiance, was a celestial being unlike any they had encountered before. His energy was neither blinding nor overwhelming, but vast, as though his very existence carried the wisdom of ages beyond counting. His form was luminous but defined, his face noble yet ethereal, framed by cascading light that resembled the glow of a distant nebula. "I am Valeth," he said, his voice resonating like a song carried on the wind. "You have stood at the river's edge, watching the flow of choices. But some choices require not just observation, but embodiment." At the sound of his voice, the air itself shifted. A pulse of energy radiated outward, and in an instant, the landscape transformed. The river remained, but they now stood upon the edge of a vast celestial shoreline. The sky stretched infinitely, filled with swirling hues of sapphire and gold, as though an eternal aurora danced overhead. Before them, a great ocean of light pulsed and rolled, its surface shifting with colors that defied definition, carrying the echoes of existence itself. A celestial fire flickered nearby, its flames translucent and shimmering, not hot, but filled with deep resonance, as though its purpose was to illuminate thought rather than consume. Around the fire, other souls gathered, some still as orbs, others experimenting with the idea of form, tentative limbs flickering in and out, glowing figures taking half shape before dissolving again. Valeth motioned toward the fire. "Come, sit. This is a place of becoming." Tamak was the first to float forward. "All right then," he pulsed. "Let's become something." Liora followed, settling near the fire. Some souls hesitated, as though uncertain how to sit in their current forms. One attempted to mimic Valeth's position, but flickered in and out of shape, rippling with uncertainty. Another laughed in delight as their legs briefly took shape before vanishing again. One soul near Liora pulsed with curiosity. "Is this how we are supposed to be?" Valeth's glow deepened, his expression both kind and knowing. "There is no supposed to be, only how you choose to be." The fire crackled softly, though it held no heat, only a presence, a warmth that came from within. Liora and Tamak listened intently. Valeth's gaze swept over them. "You have spent time as formless energy, pure and unshaped. But now you are ready for expression. Form is not limitation, it is an extension of your being." Tamak pulsed brightly. "So, we can take on any form?" Valeth smiled. "Absolutely. Let me show you." The elder soul's form suddenly collapsed into itself, shrinking down into a small, smooth stone, pulsing faintly with light. The initiates gasped, or at least the soul equivalent of gasping. A moment later, the stone morphed into a tall, glowing tree, its leaves shifting colors in the celestial light. Then, without warning, Vailith transformed into an angular, metallic shape, a glowing android-like being, its joints lined with silver light. Tamak flickered wildly. That was amazing! Can you be something really weird? Like a floating puddle? Vailith chuckled, his voice echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. His form shimmered, becoming a liquid-like mass that rippled in the air before reforming into his radiant humanoid shape, this time appearing taller, robed in deep blue light, with a staff of pure energy in his hand. The younger souls stared in awe. Vailith spread his arms. You see, form is a choice. It is a tool. It is an extension of your will. You may take on form and change it at will, but the first time you do so, it should be intentional, a reflection of your nature. Another initiate hesitated, their light dimming slightly. What if I choose a form and I don't like it? Vailith's expression softened. Then you change it. You are not bound by flesh, nor are you bound by any single shape. You are energy, and energy is fluid. Liora turned toward the celestial ocean, its glowing waves calling to something deep within her. She felt a pull, not just to observe, but to experience. How do we choose? She finally asked. Vailith inclined his head. You already know. Liora hesitated, looking inward. And as she did, she felt it, the shape of herself, waiting to be known. The fire shimmered, casting light over the gathered souls. Slowly, carefully, one of the initiates focused. Their orb flickered, wavered, and then, for the first time, solidified into a glowing humanoid form. Tamak pulsed excitedly. Oh, I'm definitely doing this. Liora felt something stir within her, a sense of anticipation, of becoming. And for the first time, she considered stepping forward. The celestial fire flickered in silent encouragement, its shimmering embers pulsing with unseen harmonies. Around it, the initiates hesitated, flickered, considered, until, one by one, they began to take shape. The first soul elongated, its radiance stretching, solidifying into something tall and flowing, glowing robes forming where there had once been only light. Another rippled and shifted, taking on the form of a graceful, ethereal being, its features soft but luminous, shifting colours like a dream. Liora watched them become, feeling a pull deep within. She turned to Tamak, his orb pulsing with anticipation. Are you ready? He asked, his energy vibrating with excitement. I think so, Liora replied, though the words felt more like a realization than a decision. She closed her awareness inward, listening, not with ears, but with essence. A shape flickered at the edge of her being, not forced, not foreign, but natural, as though she had always known it, waiting just beneath the surface. The moment she surrendered to it, the change began. Her orb glowed brighter, then stretched, the light flowing and refining itself into a radiant feminine form. Tall, elegant, her essence woven into a shape that felt right. She was not flesh, but energy, wrapped in flowing robes of luminous silver, her hands delicate but strong, pulsing with an inner glow. Her hair was not hair, but a shifting cascade of celestial light, moving like liquid stardust. Tamak took a step toward her, his first true step, and laughed as he realized he could. His form had solidified as well, but he remained unmistakably Tamak. His energy now shaped into a tall, powerful form, his features etched with sharp but kind definition, his robes mirroring deep golds and blues. His presence carried warmth, confidence, and adventure. Liora turned her hands over, watching them flicker slightly as she adjusted to the feeling. This is amazing. Tamak grinned, flexing his hands experimentally before spinning in place. I know. Look at this. I can actually move like this. One of the other initiates, still adjusting to form, tried to take a step and immediately tripped, tumbling into the celestial sand. The group laughed, not in mockery, but in joy, an embrace of learning, of play, of existence. Vilith watched them, his own form still majestic and composed, though his eyes shimmered with knowing amusement. Now that you are no longer orbs, you will find this realm has much more to offer, he said. He gestured toward the great celestial ocean behind them, where waves of living light rolled in gentle currents. The ocean had seemed beautiful before, but now, with their new senses, they could feel it, a pull, an invitation, a call to play. Tamak needed no further encouragement. "All right, last one to the water is an actual rock," he shouted, launching himself forward. The others followed, tentative at first, then eagerly, running, gliding, bounding across the celestial beach. Some hovered above the surface, some waded in cautiously, while others, Tamak included, plunged directly into the glowing waves. Liora stepped into the water, and it welcomed her. It wasn't wet in the way physical water was, but warm, pulsing with memory and song, like stepping into liquid light. When she moved, the ocean responded, rippling outward in golden threads. She turned to see Tamak floating effortlessly on his back, his arms stretched wide, his expression one of pure, unfiltered joy. "This is the best thing ever," he sighed dramatically. Liora laughed and let herself fall back into the waves, feeling them cradle her like a cosmic embrace. Then, from deep within the glowing expanse, something stirred. A shadow of brilliance moved beneath them, massive yet graceful, rolling through the illuminated currents. Then, without warning, a great celestial creature broke through the surface, soaring high above them, its form arcing through the air like a star given wings. It was whale-like, but not entirely, its body a blend of iridescent blues and silvers, with sweeping fins that trailed light as it moved. As it descended, its enormous tail sent a pulse of radiant energy through the ocean, a soundless song reverberating through the waves. Another leapt, then another. Liora stared in awe, her newly formed hands pressed against the glowing surface of the water. "They're beautiful. I want to ride one," Tamak declared immediately, already swimming toward the nearest creature. Before Liora could protest or encourage him, the great being slowed, turning its luminous gaze toward them. And then it dipped its head, as if offering an invitation. Tamak turned back to her, grinning. "Are you coming?" Liora felt the warmth of laughter, wonder, and limitless possibility bloom within her. Absolutely. And so, as the celestial ocean sang its endless harmony, the newly formed spirits raced forward, ready to embrace the adventure that awaited. Soul Journey, Part 13. The celestial ocean rippled beneath them, humming with a music that wasn't just sound. It was felt in the very core of their beings. Liora and Tamak clung to the smooth, luminous backs of the massive celestial whales as they soared through the water, the creatures gliding effortlessly through the currents of light. Liora ran her fingers along the glowing skin beneath her, feeling the pulse of something ancient, wise, and playful all at once. The great being beneath her hummed, a vibration that resonated through her entire form. Tamak, gripping the fin of another, let out a sound that could only be described as pure exhilaration. "I don't think I'm ever leaving this place," he called, his voice carrying on the cosmic air. Liora laughed, but she understood the feeling. Everything about this experience felt right, like she had always known this kind of joy, but was only just remembering it. Then, as if responding to her thoughts, the celestial whale she rode suddenly rose upward, breaching the surface in a breathtaking arc. Liora gasped, her entire being glowing brighter as she and the creature soared into the air. For the first time, she let go, her body twisting into a graceful spiral as she floated weightlessly in the sky, the stars reflecting in the waves below. And then, she didn't fall back down. She hovered, the air holding her like a gentle cradle. Tamak, watching from below, grinned wildly. "You can fly?" Liora looked at her hands, her energy pulsing with realization. I think we both can. Tamak's form flickered as he tried, pushing upward with intention. For a moment, he hovered awkwardly, then suddenly shot straight into the sky in an entirely unplanned direction. Too much, too much, he called as he tumbled mid-air. Liora reached out instinctively, catching his wrist, and their combined energy stabilized. Tamak blinked, looking at her in awe. Whoa! Okay, that was wild. How did you do that? Liora considered, feeling the answer before she could form words. It's not just movement. It's balance. It's harmony. Tamak raised a brow. Balance, huh? Before she could react, he spun them both upside down, laughing as they tumbled end over end through the celestial sky. Tamak! She shrieked between laughter, glowing brighter as she righted herself, her robes flowing effortlessly in the weightless air. They hovered there, light against light, energy intertwined as the ocean below them shimmered in appreciation. And then, a new presence made itself known. A chorus of chimes filled the air, not just sound, but sensation, as a cluster of beings emerged from the sky above. Liora's breath caught. They were not angels, nor were they like the elder souls she had met before. These beings were fluid, their forms shifting between humanoid elegance and streaks of radiant energy. Their wings not feathered, but made of pure, refracted light, each pulse of their movement causing ripples of harmonious sound. One of them descended toward them, its voice a melody that resonated through their very cores. Welcome, young ones, the being said, its voice layered with countless harmonies. You have found the sky. Now, shall we show you the dance? Tamak's glow flickered with curiosity. Dance? The being extended a hand, and suddenly, the space around them shifted. The stars swirled, the waves below pulsed, and the air itself became music. Liora felt it, a pattern, a rhythm, a movement she already knew but had never danced before. Tamak grinned. All right, let's dance. And so, beneath the ever-expanding sky, the young souls stepped into the next part of their celestial journey, learning the dance of light, the language of the stars, and the joy of movement in a world without limits. Soul Journey, Part 14. The celestial air thrummed with resonance as the luminous beings circled Liora and Tamak, their movements a mesmerizing interplay of light, sound, and flowing energy. The very space around them seemed alive, responding to their presence, shifting in hues that pulsed like a grand unseen melody. Liora's form glowed brighter as she felt the invitation woven into the rhythm. The celestial dance was more than just movement. It was expression, connection, and creation intertwined. Tamak hovered beside her, his energy flickering with excitement. All right, so how does this work? The lead being, still shifting between elegant humanoid form and streaks of pure light, extended a radiant hand. You do not learn the dance, it said in its layered, harmonic voice. You remember it. With that, it moved, and the universe moved with it. The being's form spun effortlessly, sending out a gentle pulse that rippled through the air, touching the waves below, the stars above, and even the great celestial whales still gliding in the distance. Each motion was not separate from existence, but an extension of it, as though it was playing its own unique note in the grand symphony of creation. Liora's pulse quickened. She felt it, not as a thought, but as a knowing, an instinct deeper than memory. Tamak, do you feel it? She asked, turning toward him. His glow flickered, adjusting as he absorbed the energy around them. Yeah, it's like we're already part of the music, we just have to move with it. A second being, its form gliding effortlessly across the air, offered a simple instruction. Listen, feel, and then let yourself become. Liora took a breath, not of air, but of pure sensation, letting her awareness sink into the movement. The stars pulsed in time, the waves sighed with each ripple, and the energy of the universe welcomed them in. Then She moved. Her first step was hesitant, but the moment she surrendered to the rhythm, the world responded. The celestial air carried her robes flowing as though woven from the sky itself. She lifted a hand, and light followed, swirling in elegant spirals around her fingertips. Tamak laughed as he attempted to match the flow, his steps more impulsive, more energetic, but no less beautiful. "I think I'm dancing." The lead being circled them, its radiance shifting into something almost tangible, a flowing ribbon of golden light wrapping around them in spirals. "Yes," it whispered. "Now, you are becoming." The dance quickened. The younger initiates, still hovering near the ocean's edge, began to join in, their forms glowing with newfound confidence. The celestial sky expanded above them, the constellations themselves shifting, responding to the movement. The great ocean pulsed in perfect harmony, and even the celestial creatures below sent bursts of bioluminescent light through the waves, as though adding their own voices to the song. Liora spun, effortless and radiant, her energy flowing in waves of violet and gold. She had never known such freedom. Tamak, grinning as he leaped midair, flipping before catching himself on a ripple of light, called out, "Liora, I don't think we ever stop dancing here." She laughed, glowing brighter in agreement. The celestial beings twirled around them, each motion shifting the very fabric of reality. Their dance was not just for joy, it was creation itself, a celebration of movement, energy, and existence in perfect flow. And for the first time since awakening, Liora truly understood. This was what it meant to be alive. Soul Journey, Part 15. The celestial dance carried on, growing ever more intricate, its rhythms weaving through the fabric of existence itself. Liora and Tamak moved effortlessly, their glowing forms twirling, leaping, and flowing like radiant streams of energy, no longer bound by the need to think, only to be. Every motion left trails of shimmering light, each movement a brush stroke upon the canvas of the celestial realm. As they danced, the sky seemed to respond, shifting into deeper hues of gold, indigo, and violet, reflecting their energy back at them. Then, as if sensing they were ready for more, the celestial beings surrounding them shifted the dance. One of the luminous figures, its radiance humming like a perfectly tuned instrument, extended both hands. Between them, strands of pure energy appeared, weaving into elegant flowing patterns. "This is the next step," it intoned, its voice like a layered chord of harmony. "To dance is to shape. To shape is to create. And creation is life itself." Tamak's energy flickered with excitement. "Are we about to make something?" Liora watched as the celestial guide folded the strands of light, shaping them into intricate patterns of sound and motion. The woven threads pulsed with life, forming what appeared to be a glowing constellation, shifting and changing, as though alive. Another guide stepped forward, its body elongated and flowing like a wisp of cosmic silk. "The celestial dance is more than movement," it explained, its presence resonating through them. "It is how we shape this realm. It is how we express our souls, and through expression, how we bring life into being." Liora hesitated. The idea of creating something real was both thrilling and humbling. She turned her hands upward, willing the energy to flow. Slowly, light gathered in her palms, swirling, delicate, waiting to be shaped. Tamak, of course, took the direct approach. "Let's see what happens," he declared, flinging his hands outward, sending spirals of golden energy into the air. The luminous threads unraveled and danced wildly, twisting into unexpected shapes before dispersing back into the ether. Liora laughed, her glow brightening. "That was chaotic." "But cool," Tamak grinned. "All right, maybe I should try a little more refinement." One of the celestial guides chuckled, a sound like chimes in the wind. "There is no failure here, only learning. Shape the energy not with force, but with intent. It is not yours to control, but to guide." Liora took a deep breath, not of air, but of presence, of attunement. She reached out, letting herself feel the rhythm of the universe, and as she moved, the strands of energy responded, spiraling gently into a radiant, shifting shape. It looked almost like a flower of stardust, pulsing in her hands, its glow mirroring her own essence. Tamak watched, his energy still humming with excitement. That is incredible. Feeling emboldened, he tried again, this time with more focus. His energy gathered into a shape of flowing, intertwined spirals, almost like a playful current of the celestial ocean. The strands shimmered, forming something both structured and free, reflecting his own nature. The celestial beings observed in quiet approval. Yes, one of them said, its voice filled with warmth. You are beginning to see. The dance is an extension of the soul. You shape the light as you shape yourselves. The words resonated deeply. For the first time, Liora understood that everything, movement, expression, creation, was not separate. It was all one thing, an infinite, flowing existence. She turned to Tamak, a knowing look passing between them. We're not just learning to shape energy, she said softly. We're learning to shape ourselves. Tamak grinned. And I'd say we're doing a pretty good job. The celestial beings laughed, their energy expanding outward as if the entire realm celebrated their realization. Above them, the sky shifted once more, as if unveiling a new layer of mystery yet to be explored. And as the dance continued, Liora and Tamak knew this was only the beginning. Soul Journey, Part 16. The celestial dance had become more than just movement. It was a language, a means of expression that transcended thought. Each step, each motion, each flicker of energy spoke into existence a harmony of creation. Liora and Tamak had begun to understand the delicate balance between guiding energy and allowing it to flow, between shaping form and becoming part of it. As they continued, the celestial guides expanded their lessons, leading them deeper into the wonders of the heavenly realm. Tonight, or what passed for night in this radiant domain, they moved beyond the celestial ocean and into a place unlike any they had yet seen. A vast expanse of floating crystalline structures, suspended in space, their surfaces pulsing with radiant, shifting colors. The sky stretched infinitely, an ethereal canvas of deep violet and luminous gold, with swirling patterns of energy like rivers flowing between the stars. Where are we? Liora asked, her voice filled with wonder. One of the celestial guides, its form rippling with light, extended a hand toward the shimmering expanse. This is the harmonic expanse, it said. Here, all creation is woven from sound, light, and intent. Every motion, every thought, every resonance you emit shapes the world around you. It is here you will learn to weave your presence into existence itself. Tamak turned in a slow circle, his energy pulsing with excitement. So if I were to, I don't know, sing, something would happen? The celestial being nodded. Try. Grinning, Tamak took a deep breath, not of air, but of energy itself, and then let out a note, a rich, golden vibration that rippled through the expanse like a wave through still water. Immediately, the crystals around them responded. Their surfaces flickered and shifted shape, elongating and refracting the light into new patterns. Liora's eyes widened. That was incredible. Tamak let out another note, experimenting with his range, and the structures rippled again, forming elegant spirals in response. Liora, inspired, lifted her hands and let out a soft, ethereal hum. And to her amazement, delicate filaments of light and sound wove themselves into the air, forming a cascading pattern that resembled a flower blooming from pure resonance. The celestial guide smiled. You are beginning to understand? Your presence is creation. Your energy is shape. Your voice is manifestation. A second celestial being stepped forward, its radiance shifting like a living aurora. Now, it said. Let us teach you to sing the constellations. Tamak's glow flickered. Wait, what? Leora's own energy pulsed with anticipation. Look above you, the celestial guide instructed. They did, and for the first time, they noticed that the stars themselves were moving. Not randomly, but in deliberate, flowing patterns, responding to the symphony of existence. This realm is not static, the guide continued. It breathes, it listens, it waits for you to shape it with your resonance. Liora and Tamak exchanged a glance, their energy buzzing with exhilaration. Then, as if carried by some deep and ancient knowing, Liora lifted her voice. The note she sang was pure and strong, and the stars above shifted, aligning into new constellations, glowing in response to her call. Tamak, never one to be outdone, let out a bold, playful harmony, and the cosmos danced in return, scattering glowing particles of light that shimmered like golden dust. The celestial beings watched in quiet approval. You are no longer just learning, one of them said. You are becoming creators. Liora felt something within her shift, something that felt both thrilling and humbling. The realization that they weren't just exploring this realm, they were learning to shape it. Tamak's energy brightened beside her. I think we just got a promotion. She laughed, twirling midair, her movement leaving a trail of radiant stardust behind. It's only the beginning. And with that, they dove deeper into the harmonic expanse, their voices joining the eternal song of creation, the celestial realm welcoming them into the next chapter of their infinite journey. Soul Journey, Part 17. The harmonic expanse stretched endlessly before them, a vast realm of shifting light and resonant sound. As Liora and Tamak wove their voices into the celestial fabric, the constellations moved in harmony, responding to their melodies. The realization was intoxicating. They were not just travelers in this realm, they were creators. As their confidence grew, the celestial guides introduced them to even greater mysteries. You have shaped the stars, one of the radiant beings intoned, its form shimmering with hues of sapphire and gold. Now, you will learn to listen to the echoes of creation itself. A third celestial guide, whose presence hummed with deep wisdom, gestured toward the void beyond the constellations. Everything that has ever been sung, every motion that has ever been danced, still exists here. Nothing is ever truly lost. With a wave of its hand, a portal of light appeared, shimmering like a pool of liquid crystal. Liora and Tamak stepped forward, gazing into its depths. At first, they saw only reflections, glimmers of themselves, shifting and rippling. But as they focused, images began to form. Tamak's energy flickered. Is that the past? The celestial guide nodded. It is more than the past. It is the eternal imprint of creation, woven into the cosmic song. Every thought, every intention, every act of beauty or love, it all remains, waiting to be heard again. Liora reached out, her glowing fingers grazing the surface of the portal. The moment she touched it, a symphony of memories unfurled. She saw celestial beings shaping realms with their voices, great luminous structures forming from pure resonance. She saw radiant figures dancing across planets made of crystal, their energy leaving behind forests of light and rivers of song. Tamak, standing beside her, let out a slow breath. This is incredible. But before they could take in more, something unexpected happened. The portal shimmered and shifted, the light fracturing into thousands of threads that wove themselves into a grand tapestry hanging in the cosmic air before them. At its center, an enormous celestial symbol pulsed with energy, unfamiliar yet strangely recognizable. Liora's glow flickered. I feel like I know this. Tamak turned to their guides, his energy vibrating with curiosity. What is this? The celestial beings regarded the tapestry with quiet reverence. This, one of them said, is the unfinished song, the piece of creation that has not yet been completed. It is a melody waiting to be sung, a shape waiting to be formed. Liora and Tamak exchanged glances, understanding dawning between them. You mean, we're supposed to finish it? Tamak asked. The guides smiled. That is the nature of all souls, one of them said, to add their voices to the ever-expanding song of creation. Liora felt a deep, undeniable calling within her. For the first time, she and Tamak were not just learning. They were being invited to create something entirely new. The cosmic tapestry shimmered, waiting. Liora took a breath, her glowing hands reaching out. And as the celestial symphony swelled, she and Tamak stepped forward into the greatest creation they had yet undertaken. Soul Journey, Part 18. The unfinished song shimmered before them, vast and unknowable, yet somehow familiar. The cosmic tapestry, woven of light and resonance, pulsed in time with the great celestial melody. It was waiting, not for command, not for force, but for collaboration. Liora and Tamak stood before it, energy humming with anticipation. Around them, the celestial guides watched in quiet encouragement, their forms flickering in and out of luminous patterns. Liora extended her hand toward the tapestry, letting her presence attune to its rhythm. As her energy connected, she felt it, the infinite possibilities, the countless songs that had yet to be sung, the shapes that had yet to be formed. It's alive, she whispered, her voice barely more than a ripple of thought. Tamak's glow flickered with excitement. So, how do we add to it? The celestial guide closest to them smiled. Not by force, not by will, but by offering, by letting your essence shape it as it wishes to be shaped. Liora closed her eyes, letting her awareness sink into the flowing harmonies. She didn't try to shape it, not yet. She simply listened. And then she heard something. A melody, soft at first, drifting like a distant echo. It wasn't complete. It was calling out, waiting for its next note. She opened her eyes and turned to Tamak, who had gone perfectly still, his form shimmering with understanding. Do you hear it? He nodded, his glow deepening. Yeah, it's asking for something, like a song waiting for a harmony. Liora took a slow, steady breath. Then let's answer it. She lifted her hands, letting her own energy intertwine with the melody, feeling the resonance expand outward. A note formed, not from her voice alone, but from her very being. The moment the sound emerged, the tapestry responded, shifting, glowing, pulling the sound into itself as if it had always been a part of it. The swirling cosmic threads wove together, forming something new, a shape neither of them had seen before, yet felt completely right. Tamak stepped forward, adding his voice to hers. His tone was bold and playful, a bright contrast to Liora's delicate resonance. The tapestry shuddered in delight, sending pulses of color rippling through the celestial expanse. The celestial guides watched in silent reverence. They are doing it, one murmured. They are becoming. As Liora and Tamak continued to shape the song, the space around them expanded, revealing new layers of reality they had never glimpsed before. A vast celestial landscape took form, floating islands of light, suspended in an endless glowing horizon. Rivers of pure sound flowed between them, winding like threads of golden melody. Liora gasped. We made this? Tamak laughed, his energy vibrating with undeniable joy. I think we did. The celestial guides stepped forward, their forms glowing ever brighter. You have begun the true work of creation, one of them said. The unfinished song is not something you complete. It is something you add to forever, as part of the ever-growing existence. Another guide gestured toward the glowing rivers. Each note you weave, each shape you form, is a reflection of who you are becoming. Liora absorbed the words, her energy pulsing with newfound understanding. So, we're not just shaping this realm, we're shaping ourselves? The celestial being nodded. Yes, and that is the purpose of creation itself, to expand, to refine, to become ever more harmonious with the source. Tamak turned to Liora, his glow flickering with excitement. So, what do we do next? Liora smiled, her form shimmering with light. We keep creating. And as they turned back toward the endless, shifting cosmos, they knew this was just the beginning of a creation without limits. Soul Journey, Part 19. The newly formed celestial landscape shimmered before them, vast and untouched, waiting to be explored. Liora and Tamak hovered at the edge of their creation, their glowing forms reflecting the radiance of the floating islands of light, the rivers of pure melody flowing through the air like golden threads. Liora extended a hand, feeling the energy beneath her hum in recognition. This was not a world built from stone and soil, but from intention and resonance. A place where thoughts shaped the sky, where the rhythm of the soul formed reality itself. So, what happens now? Tamak asked, his energy flickering with restless excitement. One of the celestial guides stepped forward, its form fluid and radiant, shifting between hues of deep violet and gold. Now, you walk within your own creation. With a graceful motion, the guide descended, stepping onto the nearest floating island. Where its luminous feet touched, waves of energy pulsed outward, stabilizing the form beneath it. Liora followed, hesitating only for a moment before her feet met the surface of light. It felt solid, yet weightless, as though she stood upon a ripple in the fabric of existence. Tamak landed beside her, immediately jumping up and down in curiosity. "This is incredible," Liora murmured, her hands trailing through the radiant air, sending spirals of soft color drifting away. The celestial guide turned toward them, its presence emanating both patience and deep knowing. Your creation is now part of the great unfolding reality. But all things, even here, must find balance. As you shape, you must also listen. As you build, you must also allow. Creation is not only what you give, it is what you invite to unfold. Tamak raised an eyebrow. So, does that mean this place is alive? A second celestial being joined them, its energy resonating with a deep, melodic vibration. All things here are alive. All things are part of the great song. Your creation has been given breath, and now it will grow, just as you do. Liora turned toward the landscape stretching before them. She hadn't thought about what might come next, but now she felt something stirring within the floating islands, within the luminous rivers. Then the air shifted. A new presence flickered into being, forming from the very essence of the landscape itself. Liora gasped. It was not an angel nor a celestial guide, but something new, something that had not existed before. The being's form was woven from strands of light, its shape fluid, its energy pure and inquisitive. It had no name, no history, it simply was. "Did we create it?" Tamak whispered, awe flickering in his voice. The celestial guide nodded. "Not just you, the song did. Your creation has invited new souls to enter its melody." Liora stepped forward, reaching out gently. The newborn being shimmered, its energy mirroring hers. A thought passed between them, not in words, but in feeling, curiosity, warmth, recognition. "It knows me," she breathed. "It knows your resonance," the guide corrected. "It was drawn to the harmony you created. Every act of creation calls forth life. You did not summon it. You made space for it to become." Tamak exhaled in amazement. "So, we didn't just make a world, we made a home." The celestial rivers rippled in agreement, their melodies shifting to welcome the new arrival. And as more shapes began to flicker into existence, beings of light, creatures formed from sound and motion, entities drawn by the resonance of what had been built, Liora and Tamak understood. This was not just a realm to shape. It was a realm to nurture. Creation was not a single act. It was an endless unfolding. And they, for the first time, were not just explorers of the celestial realm. They were its architects, its caretakers, its living melody.